interrupting you. Okay. Yes.
Is this any better?
No, everything is really good. Everything is really good. Okay. Except my cats are fighting.
Yeah, because I've got a separate speaker that I'm turning up.
Me too.
Let me just, you two do. So I can hear you, I can hear you okay, but really you can't hear me so well, right?
Very well. I hear you very well. Yes. I hear you very well.
Oh, okay. Well,
very, very well.
Oh, then I'm just going to lean in a little bit too, so that'll help because my speaker's here. So, and look, what I would like to look at in your chart is transiting Neptune. And as far as I'm concerned, this is a really big to-do, especially this time of your life where you've cultivated and become really very polished at what you do. So transiting Neptune is in Pisces, it's in your 11th house, it's next to your part of fortune, it's trining your Venus and Mars, it's trining two of your asteroids, Pallas Athena and Juno. So this grand trine is very long. It started in January of 2021. It goes through March of 2025. It's also, incidentally, Neptune by transit is also sextiling, transiting Pluto on your Capricorn midheaven. So why I want to talk about this is it's like the work that you do, your connection to the divine feminine, this combination, it really centers on the universal heart, opening all kinds of levels of your heart chakra, as well as your crown chakra. And so like anything in Pisces, it's kind of understated. That's why I wanted to bring attention to it, because really it opens up all the different chambers of the heart. Just, you know, the reason it's so long is because it is doing such an amazing job of opening up your energy fields on all levels, but especially the heart and the crown. So I feel that this supports your work tremendously. It's kind of like a cushion that you can just lean in on. Now, and of course, we're not even touching on what it does for the intuitive and psychic capacity for you. It works slowly, but it's very deep. And it also, as far as I'm concerned, offers a lot of different initiations for you, some of which are very subtle and some of which are more strongly activated by sacred places and different things that you yourself are exposed to. But I just think that this is a really lovely backdrop for growing and enhancing all of your skills that you have and taking them to another level. It's not uncommon when we have this, that new guides come forth for us. They're very, very specialized in what they do, and also energetically attracted to where you're at on your soul path. And that's why they come in, because, oh my God, I can really help with this. So don't underestimate that. Even though it's not a big Mars and making a big noise, it is like so expansive. And you yourself mentioned the Pluto energy. And I have to say, Anouk, when I had Pluto on my midheaven, which I have a Sagittarius midheaven, so it was a little while ago, I can't believe how much my work changed, how much more visibility I had. So essentially, you know, Pluto is on your midheaven from the beginning of 2020 and through the end of 2023. So you've got another 18 months of this. While it's on your midheaven in Capricorn, of course, it's kicking up a little bit of dust in its opposition to your Venus and its square to your ascendant. But truly, this is just like the grip that we find in sand. In other words, it teaches us how to be able to really hold our ground when the energies are constantly changing, fluctuating, expanding, contracting. So I don't see this as a major problem, in that it's just helping you constantly adjusting to and being able to manage a Of course, on a personal level, when it opposes Venus, it also speaks of the pandemic and the different adjustments we've all had to make to how much exposure we have to other people in person. You know, it's your Venus in Cancer after all, very heart connected. But I think that Pluto is also, while on your Capricorn midheaven, trining your Jupiter in Taurus. Same time frame, very long time frame. And this is extraordinary, the Pluto midheaven Jupiter, because it does a whole different job for you. But as long as we're in skin and on a planet, it's a really important, and it's kind of like the principle of Pilates. This puts you totally in connection to your core energy. I mean, really, your chakra right in here, you know, that allows you to be who you are, to hold the ground, not just for the space, I should say, not just for yourself, but whenever you need to for other people that you're working with. So it does an amazing job on getting you connected to your core energy so that you can be in that. It's very powerful, and so that you can project it, expand it as you need to, when you need to, for whatever purpose. And so why this is so important is energetically, it balances all the openness from the water energy, Neptune and Pisces, connecting to your Cancer, connecting to the Scorpio, which is really very ethereal. And so this Pluto is like anchoring you, you know, and the balance is so important for you because it allows you to access and be able to work with, process all the different energies that are available coming in for you, essentially, so that they don't throw you right off, but rather enhance what's the programs that are already there and update them and uplift them and so on. So I see this Pluto as super important for you. And it doesn't, of course, it goes without saying that your Jupiter in Taurus is in your financial house. So with Pluto on the midheaven, connecting to that for so long, it will do everything. This energetic connection will do everything to support and expand you financially, even in the times that we're in. And of course, you know, this is like a template. So it's not like a day-by-day thing. Oh, this week I have money in my account. Next week, it's much bigger than that. It is creating a foundation for you, just like the core energy, a foundation, expanding and strengthening your relationship to the divine flow of abundance. But it's nevertheless a very practical placement as well. And so I would say that some of this might already represent what you yourself know you would like to do, how more specifically, how you would like to expand your work so that you can create either more or stronger income streams for yourself. But however connected you are with it, it's going to constantly reveal new ideas for you. And let's just make sure my recorder's working. I'm just doing a backup too. If I may, I want to say one more thing, and then I'm going to pause and see how you feel about this. But I think what you're aware of right now and what you wrote to me, you can sense energetically, you can sense that there's going to be a new way forward for you. And I think that may actually come from looking at some of the solar arc energy, which I find also very powerful, is that you have your solar arc Jupiter is at almost 23 degrees of Cancer. So that makes it in your third house, conjuncting your Mars. Now, a Jupiter-Mars conjunction is a very energizing, very energetic. The third house to you is really packed. Your North Node is there. You have a couple of planets there. You know, really are very awake in this whole throat chakra and so on. So I think you're feeling the energy of this. It actually started in August of 2021, and it goes through August of 2023. So this is a solar arc Jupiter conjuncting your natal Mars, also actually making a sextile to your solar arc Venus, which is in Virgo in the 5th house while it's doing this. So you can definitely feel the energy. Mars wants to move forward, to engage, to be, especially in the 3rd house. So this is, I feel, kind of heightening your receptivity on all levels, your receptivity, that which is not maybe even ready to manifest, but you can feel it, looking for a way to do that. I'm going to jump to what's going to help that, because you also actually identified this in your email as well. You said, I've forgotten the exact wording, but you said something like, I feel there'll be windows where it's time to act. Well, you couldn't be more accurate enough. We're looking now at transiting Uranus. It's still in your 1st house in Taurus. It's going to be there for a little while. So it makes a trine to your solar arc. Is that your little doggy?
Let me just close the door. Sorry. Look. Sorry about that.
Oh, I didn't mean you needed to correct him in any way. I was just making sure that there wasn't something wrong with my.
No, I just want to hear you, and she was disturbing me. Thank you.
Okay, I'll put the recorder back on. So you have this, your solar arc Mars at 19 degrees, almost 20, 19 degrees of Virgo. So that means transiting Uranus in Taurus in the 1st house, which is very Mars-like, is trining your solar arc Mars in Virgo in the 5th house. And it's a nice long transit. Let's take a look. I think it's right here. Now, it's not exact during the 1st time frame. It's not exact, but that doesn't matter. It comes that close. You'll feel this. So the first trine between transiting Uranus in Taurus in the 1st house to your solar arc Mars in Virgo in the 5th house is June through November 2022. And then when it comes back, it really kicks ass. And that is mid-March 2023 through mid-March 2024. Now, there's a lot to be said for a Uranus-Mars trine. Now, what's interesting is the solar arc Mars is in your 5th house, where you already have 4 natal planets in Virgo. You know everything about how to do the 5th house. You know, it's a strong sense of your own self, and it's highly intuitive and perceptive because you have Uranus there with your sun. And so you know how to do this. So this creates vignettes, many, many small windows of opportunity for action that's very precise, purposeful, and definitely forward engaged. Uranus and Mars has an amazing amount of energy, especially the conjunctions and the trines. So this will uplift your energy field in all kinds of ways. That's what it's designed to do. The only reason I use the word precise is because that's the nature of Mars and Virgo. By solar, it's more precise. It's not inexpensive, but you don't need it to be that way. You already have so much expansion. You're looking for something where it hits right on the target. So your job essentially with this Uranus Mars, very independent. It's all about you, your energy being focused, forward, momentum. You can do either very big things with this or a lot of targeted things that you are moving toward. It's very action oriented. Now we also have to note that Uranus in Taurus in general, it's very bohemian. It really wants some kind of artistic expression. Whereas Mars in Virgo is all about the precisions, like an engineering aspect. It's so, but mind you, it's also good for energy coming in that's also very precise. So between the two of them, you know, there's a balance between the more artistic and the more precise. This won't let you down. This will constantly let you know whatever you need to know that would constitute the sense of this is the time for this. And that also includes things you haven't been able to bring about for whatever reason. It really doesn't matter the reason so much. This will say, today's the day. You'll wake up and you'll be like, today's the day. This week I'm gonna, and you'll just know, and you'll feel the momentum behind you, because it's very physical, Taurus and Virgo, you'll feel it right behind you, supporting especially actions, steps that you take. I like that it's independent for you. It's so one pointed on your own individual expression. That's very, very helpful, you know, for you, because there's a sense of accomplishment. Whatever you set out to do, it gets done, and you feel good about that. What's interesting is what will help with how to use this Uranus Mars. And by the way, one thing I want to say for sure is it can also accomplish big things. It's not, you know, these Uranus is a very expensive planet. It can also accomplish big endeavors that you might want to do, that at another time you would go, oh, it seems like an awful lot to do. So it'll give you the wherewithal, the mindset, the energy follows thought, action follows. I mean, it'll come together. But what's interesting is today, as we speak, I'm looking at planets that are also temporarily coming next to transiting Uranus, while also trining this solar Mars in Virgo. And as we speak today, I think that Venus, June the 7th and through the 18th, Venus in Taurus, conjunct Uranus, trine that Mars. So this is just a very good thing for trying ideas on. It's not an edit aspect. It's more like, if I was just doing whatever I want outside of time and space, what would I be drawn to? And so Venus helps you with that. And then Mars, transiting Mars, also conjuncts Uranus, also trines that solar arc Mars, and that is in place July the 26th and through August the 11th this year. And the only reason I'm giving you these time frames is because, especially with the Mars-Uranus conjunction in Taurus, as well as the trine to Mars, you will have exceptionally one-pointed focus and a lot of energy for however you want to use that or utilize that. And it may just be, again, that you wake up and you just know this is the day, or it may be that you want to use that for more like planning. You'll have exceptionally good vitality available to you. You'll be very one-pointed. So there's going to be no distractions. Whatever you want to get done, your whole being will be kind of like an arrow. I often think of Uranus and Taurus as very kaleidoscopic in nature. It can, because of Venus's, you know, connection to Taurus, but this particular one is like very, very one-pointed. And I would also say to you to actually expect really good guidance and insights, you know, because of the concentration of two planets that get along well. That would be Mars and Uranus, the concentration of the way they operate. Because especially with Uranus, it's kind of they're outside of time and space, even though they're very one-pointed, they also open up our higher mind and our mind so that we can see the way forward, essentially. So I think we'll pause there and see, is this all making sense? The planets we're talking about and what they're doing?
Absolutely, absolutely, Margaret. You're amazing. You're so amazing. Thank you so much. You're such a gift.
So were you. And when I do the math myself on charts. I don't do, because it's more intuitive. And I was going, oh my God, the whole time. And Nook is amazing. What you've accomplished what you've accomplished, and I mean that on more than the obvious level, who you are inside, the work it took to get there, how you opened yourself up. Just truly amazing.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Absolutely spot on all that you said. It's the sense that something, I have some ideas what I have to do and I will share with you. And then at the same time, I feel like I have to be very precise. That's the feeling I have. I have to be really focused and really precise because something huge is coming and I need to be ready. Like I am trying to, do things so that I've got my YouTube channel ready and I've got like, I don't know, I feel like prepare, something big is coming. And then a little bit the responsibility of what that means. And I'm doing, as you know, I do many things, right? So it's like, is it time for me just to focus on one thing? But you're telling me not necessarily. I can still, because I'm super creative being, the master of the fifth house with all of my planets there, which is such a gift to my work. But at the same time, when I have so much information, it's like, how do I share this? How do I teach this? What's the best thing to do? What comes first? And then more is coming. Like also, as you say, receiving so much information and then, okay, is this for now? Because I always tend to be ahead of time and then I'll start something and people are like, you want us to do what? I go, oops, I'm ahead of time again.
Well, what you're sounding like, Anouk, is Saturn in Aquarius in your 10th house, transiting your 10th house. And especially it's just very recently just gone retrograde. But the thing about this, there's not in your birth chart, there's not a lot of air, even though you have 3 planets in the Gemini's 3rd house and a lot of planets in the 11th. There's not much in the way of planets and air. So this Saturn in Aquarius is actually really, really helpful for you. It's good for breaking down combinations of things to what is the bottom line. It's very timing oriented. What is the bottom line? Is this, should I focus more? So it kind of helps you with that, but it is a very different vibration than what you're used to. I feel the Saturn Aquarius, a different vibration than what you're used to. So it's a matter of, it operates more slowly. Don't forget you have a lot of planets in mutable, the Virgo and the Pisces and the North Node and South Node. So mutable, you can work with, but this is the Saturn in Aquarius it's the last of the earth signs. So it's very concentrated and it is in all fairness hitting a lot of different things in your chart. I mean, for the longest time Saturn was opposing your moon and squaring your Neptune, and that's talk about slow, and also it's harder under that aspect. It's harder to feel your intuition and guidance and trust it, because it seems sometimes like you're way out on your own. It's like, did I miss the beat here? Like, so it's sometimes a little isolating when it was doing that. The other thing that it's doing that is good just to be aware of this, is that we're coming back into a Saturn-Uranus square. So far, that has been the astrological signature for the pandemic. Saturn-Uranus has been a square. Well, it's coming back in the last week of July and through the end of November, which will probably spill over till the end of December. So we'll have Saturn and Uranus very close to 18 degrees in squares. But what that does for you is you have your progressed Mercury at 18 degrees of Scorpio in the 7th house. So Saturn will be squaring that and Uranus will be opposing that. And the time frame on that, which you may have looked at yourself, is, here we are. No. Okay, hang on a sec. I thought I had it right here. Okay, here we go. Okay, so it's essentially mid-July 2022 through mid-January 2023. So we have Saturn and Aquarius in your 10th house, squaring that progressed Mercury. It's in Scorpio, so it's very fixed as well. Saturn's in a fixed sign by transit. Mercury in Scorpio is very fixed. We don't like to do things too quickly. Uranus is opposing that, which means the timing's always a little helter-skelter or whatever that is. So essentially, keep that in mind, during this second half of this year. Just keep it in mind that that is there. However you want to, however you want to work with that. Like it may take some things may take more planning, specifics, with allowing for the Uranus energy to be freed up so that you can adjust accordingly. But I just want to say one thing that's really helpful. Not too many people like Saturn square Mercury. And the reason being, you second guess yourself. And just like any Saturn Mercury square, it's sometimes we wonder if we're on the same page as whomever we are communicating with, if we're on the same page, because of that concentrated, fixed nature, not like your usual third house, communication. But so what can we say that's positive about that? It's good for long-term planning. If you have a project where you can do a little bit at a time that you're thinking you'll develop, but you're not in a hurry to develop it necessarily, then it's good for checking in, because it can also, especially if you have the wherewithal to have total concentration, because this aspect, the Saturn square Mercury, doesn't like distraction. It likes to be really absorbed in something. And so it can be helpful for just something you've got on the back burner that you'll pull through when the energy is ready to flow more steadily or more easily. So in all fairness, the Saturn is there. I mean, it's in a very pronounced house, the 10th house. And so I think in some ways it makes you, or it makes you feel more isolated with what you're trying to do. And you have all the great capacity for working alone on things, but this is a whole different, it's a whole different energy. It's just not what you're used to, essentially, But there are a few things that want expression in your chart. And one more thing about this, the Saturn that we've been talking about, the Uranus and Saturn connection to that progressed Mercury, something that will balance this for you is transiting Jupiter in the 12th house in Aries, trining your moon. And even though it's not exact to the degree, it still comes in and you can feel it. And how you feel it is just those moments of everything's perfect with the world. You feel like, so it'll trine your moon mid-June through early September. And when it comes back, it's only a very short amount of time that it trines your moon, February the 10th through April the 2nd of 2023. And by then, by then, I feel that you'll know what you want to do with that. If you want to travel, take a trip, whatever, it's energy that I feel is designed to nurture you, uplift you, expand and nurture you. Which is really important when you're in a position where you're giving a lot of energy out. You could, after a year of Saturn opposite your moon and square your Neptune, it's like you could use that nurturing, for yourself, however you can give that to yourself. As a matter of fact, there's a lot of energy when Jupiter crosses your ascendant in Aries. It trines your Ceres, the mothering energy, in Sagittarius in your 9th house. It trines your solar arc north node, which is 25 degrees of Leo, and your progressed Mars, which is 27 of Leo. So you've got a grand trine with Jupiter, all in the fire signs, all in the fire, not in the fire houses, but very close. That 4th house is very, very close. So that's essentially the last week of April through early June 2023. Now, this doesn't sound like a very long time frame, but you don't know what can open up inside of you that will propel you forward to take a leap, more like the way you're used to living, a leap of faith to go bigger into your own future. So I wouldn't let the time frame go, oh my God, I wish I had it for a year. It can propel you forward at the right time for the right reason. And it's like everything in you goes, this is what I've been waiting for. I can feel it. So the forward momentum comes in a different way as well. So I would say you have very soon 3, but right now you have 2 planets in Libra in your 6th house, and they're looking to be activated by something. Like the progressed Venus is like 0 degrees of Libra in the 6th house. The solar arc moon is 10 degrees of Libra in the 6th house. So both of those are kind of sitting there, you know, like very artistic energy, an excellent time to try something new in your work. So the planets that will come in and activate those air signs is Mars and Gemini, you know, and usually why would we be talking about something that's in a sign for 5-6 weeks, but actually every couple of years, Mars is in a sign for much, much longer. So it will be in the sign of Gemini for something like, okay, a long time. Okay. Oh, because I tried that. So essentially it'll be there from, let me just check your, like all of September and all of the way through April 2023. So when Mars is in Gemini, it'll create more of a fluid feeling for you. It'll conjunct 3 things, excuse me, not conjunct, but it'll connect with 3 things. One of those being that solar arc moon in Libra. It sits there from twice. So Mars and Gemini will be in your 2nd house. It hasn't made it into the 3rd house. It'll trine that solar arc moon in Libra September the 1st through the 19th this year, and then December 1st, 2022 through the end of February 2023. That's a really lovely, light, playful. It enhances your great communication ability, the storyteller in you. It enhances all of that. So that could also be a time where you try something new to see what kind of reception you get from it. And it should be something that's really easy for you. You know, this Mars moon carries it. All you have to do is come up with the idea itself, but it should be very playful too. It's very light energy, it should be playful. The very best situation, but of course with COVID, we don't know, the very best situation would be participatory, you know, where people camp either with you or in some way where, because there's a lot of great connection from that Libra energy. But it could be fun to just see what you want to do with that. And then when Mars conjuncts your North Node in Gemini, really good placement, and that is mid-October through mid-November 2020.
I'm planning, yeah, so many.
Oh.
Sorry, I'll tell you.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Say that last part again.
Oh, I said I interrupted you. I'm sorry.
Fun.
Can you hear me? I said I interrupted you. Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, I can now. Yeah, I can now. It went out in and out a little bit. So that Mars conjunct the North Node is there from mid-October through mid-November of 2022, and then mid-March through the end of March of 2023. They're not very long time frames, but how you can use them is either in designing, intuitively designing, or more hands-on. You design earlier, then you use that flow of energy to really to bring forth, because you're very good with the Gemini energy. You know, you're such an excellent, you have a great voice, a great communicator. There's short periods of time, but it can still be just what you need to get the, especially anything interactive, even better, because you get the energy from what you, the people you are connecting with, and vice versa. So I only mention that because we've got to find a way to connect with that moon, that solar arc moon in Libra. It's sitting there just waiting for some attention, you know.
Well, I am planning. I have dates for 2 tours, and then in those particular moments that you mentioned, into the desert. And my idea was to do camping in the desert and do astrology under the dark sky and talk about the star beings and their connections, you know, their personal connections to the different constellations, and yeah, the outer, you know, the outer stars, so the outer constellations.
Oh,
Galactic.
that would be so lovely.
Okay, well, that is one idea. I have, so here I am in Egypt, and I haven't been doing tours because of what was happening in the world. And now I'm thinking I'm really busy with it. It's only really just picking up galactic astrology, though I've been doing it. I've been doing fixed stars astrology for over 2 years, and then I went into the galactic part about a year ago now, and I've been very constant. They were friends, you know, there were people that I was doing for free because I just wanted to do a lot of it until like I was really ready. And it didn't take long to get, you know, lots of referrals and things that are moving, you know, towards something big. So this is one thing I'm thinking, do I focus with this for now, and do I put more content on YouTube? And the plan for me is to now do that and come out of Facebook, or not be so present on Facebook, because it's not helping business wise. Like, I don't get any views, and I'm slowly, very slowly, it's a tiny channel, as you can see, but I've already put 100 videos there. So I'm working towards, you know, developing that channel for astrology, and maybe for wisdom keepers. So to have people like yourself, you know, come in and share their gifts, and share the wisdom of their particular skills. And, you know, how do we bring this wisdom so that everybody knows that it's here? And there is a reason for that, for the wisdom of the wisdom keepers of Earth to speak. But before I say that, I also have this idea that I should be doing tours, because I love doing tours. I've done this for years. I know how to do them. And now live in a country that it could be easy for me to run like desert trips. I somehow feel I'm not supported to do the whole of Egypt through all the temples. I've tried, and I find that I'm alone trying to do it, and I don't find a partner that supports me, like either a business partner or a man partner that would, because in Egypt as a woman you need a man. And as much as I tried, I feel like you know, the support isn't coming. So maybe I should just concentrate specifics. I was thinking I would concentrate on desert, and then have, you know, people that are really good at working in the desert, and I'd work with them. So that could incorporate galactic astrology with travel, sacred travel with astrology. You know thyself. enter, enter the zone, because when you're in the desert, there's probably not even, telephone connection. So you really have to connect with yourself and with your higher guidance. So that would be like what I would absolutely love to do. And then I have this vision, and it's a vision since 2019 of bringing wisdom keepers together. And the vision always has been feet on the ground, like literally feet, no shoes, feet on earth. And I see all of their clothing, and I see they're all different tribes, different ethnicity, different cultures. They're like, I just see their clothing and their feet on the earth. That's the vision. And I see concentric circles of people standing next to each other, foot by foot. And I think either this is an etheric thing, or this is me potentially being the one that brings groups together and wisdom keepers together in these concentric circles that then resonate out. And so this was since 2019. And now I'm told, my guidance tells me it's 2024, November, December 2024, Africa. Not to say that it couldn't happen all over the world, but my little bit would be to hold Africa. So this is huge. So when you were talking about, it could be lots of little things, or it could be a very big thing. I'm thinking the summit would be called Feet on the Ground, because that was always the vision.
But you have a lot of juice for this. Well, you know what? You've got that concentration of planets in Virgo in the 5th house. By solar arc, that same combination of planets is in Scorpio and in the 7th house. Next year, you'll have your Saturn return in Pisces, and it'll go up to about 8 degrees at the first time that it's in 2023. So that, in fact, you'll have, at the time of your Saturn return, you'll also be trining that solar arc, Mercury, Uranus, Sun, and Pluto in Scorpio in the 7th house. So I feel that will, and when you probably know the time frame on this, but we're looking essentially at February of 2023 through mid-March of 2024. So when you've got that trine from Saturn and Pisces to all the Scorpio, that I think that your capacity to hold energy for people to have, and we're talking about majorly transformative experiences, that they would, because it's very alchemic by nature, that it would be hard for them to have that concentrated experience anywhere else unless they were signing up for 12 bodywork sessions or whatever, however. And so your capacity to hold the energy in that and to create a transformational experience for others at a very high level of concentration energy is most definitely going to be present with this. And if part of that is you're looking at what essentially how you would like to be a part of that the most, because it's available on one-on-one, whether it's readings or whatever you do. And it's also available in small groups where you are in a place where the energy is also concentrated. You're concentrated. The experience is contained and concentrated to the best of your ability. And of course, who knows who would step through to facilitate that. But we're talking really knocking your socks off kind of energy.
Wow. So that would be March. Did you say March?
Now, the funny thing is, not everybody thinks of Saturn as being the touchstone for majorly transformative, and we think more of the outer planets, but don't forget, you still got the outer planets in place for you. Pluto's still on your midheaven. Neptune's still in the grand trine. You know, they're long-term aspects through end of 2024 or something. And so they're still in place while this Saturn energy is. Now, of course, for you, it's going to be a little bit possibly like you'll need some reasonable time to come down from this after the, you know, because it's so powerful. You'll need, you know, you'll need some energy to just realign with the 3D. But now, of course, we should also mention that Saturn in Pisces, your Saturn return will oppose the first maybe 3 planets in Virgo in 2023, Mercury, Uranus, and the Sun. But you know something, I feel that part of that, maybe not all of it, but part of that is you are totally trusting. You don't have to bring everything into it so that it's nice and succinct and easily understood and it's logical, linear. I think part of that experience may be for you to go, no, I don't need to do that. I'm here to facilitate something different. And so the trine to the Scorpio is going to do everything. You know, and it's not that the planets in Virgo are not important, because obviously they give you great, as you need it and when you need it, great attention to detail, excellent for learning this combination, but it may not be as needed in some situations that you're working in. To try and bring it down to a more easily understood logical linear may not be needed for whatever that experience needs to be for those that you are working with. And so I think where the Jupiter comes in as it's getting ready to finish the 12th house transits and coming into your first house, I think part of what that's about is lighting you up like a Christmas tree as it crosses over to say, to make it simple about to do where the energy is calling you, you know, because you'll always have a variety of things that you can concentrate on, and you will just know when that Jupiter crosses, you will just know, firstly, that you can do all of it. You'll know that you can do all of it. And that something always important for an Aries rising to know is you're not going to run out of time. You know, you're not going to run out of time. It's there will be enough time. Everything will happen. You know, everything will happen more organically. To tell you the truth, I think the Saturn return is going to be easier for you than the Saturn in Aquarius, to tell you the truth. You know.
Good. I was thinking that. I think I'm getting ready so that I won't even feel it when, you know, I'm on the Saturn return, because I feel like Saturn is on here on my back.
Yeah, because, you know, you have done, I feel like you've given a lot of time and energy to undoing a lot of the Saturn energy so that you can be more of a free spirit in all the right ways. So you don't really need that concentrated Saturn energy in the way that you maybe once did to help you feel anchored. And especially when it's in the 11th house, because your Chiron is there as well. When Saturn and Chiron are there, you know, part of the essence of that is, will I find my tribe, you know, my like-minded, who totally accept me and totally understand me, but also vice versa, you know, so that will always be there. But I think what changes with that is that you are that for other people. You know what I mean? You are the community for other people, or you help them feel what you yourself were at one time looking for. You hold the energy for them. As a matter of fact, one thing that I think you're working with over the good part of your lifetime is the Neptune in Scorpio in square to the moon in Leo. And that is like the signature, energetic signature of that is your own sense of belonging. This is home. These are my people. This is my person. I can have a companionship with this person. I can totally expose myself. So what's interesting about this is there's two different things that are going to interact with it. And I feel that it's just good to have the awareness of this so that you can be observing it too, because sometimes with a combination of what I'm about to share is you can be projecting onto someone else, and you have spent too long essentially cultivating that wholeness within you. And so it may be like a little bit like testing to see if there's still a tendency to project it on. So essentially there's two things I just want to mention about that. Again, it's just for the sense of being aware, because there's a lot of longing that's created from this Neptune moon. The energetic signature is longing, and we all know, of course, that longing can be the most amazing thing for us, but it's still got its own sense of there's something different than what I'm now experiencing. So the transiting North Node is in Taurus and will create a T-square to the Neptune, and then Jupiter by transit moving into Taurus, still in the first house, will also create a T-square. So it's good just to keep an eye on this to see how you're experiencing and what you tend to want to do with it. So the North Node in Taurus in the heavens, opposite Neptune, square your moon, is July 2022. It's right around the corner, and it goes through the end of January 2023. Now, just something that's interesting about this is it's exactly the same time frame that Saturn in Aquarius will be squaring your progressed Mercury in Scorpio, and Uranus will be opposing it. So part of you with a combination of things going on at the same time is like you may want to step away from the more constrictive energy of Saturn and go into this place, the North Node with Neptune and the moon, because it's a special place that you've had since you were a young child, you know? So then Jupiter comes into Taurus, essentially from mid-May 2023 through mid-April 2024, Jupiter will be in Taurus. This is your birth sign. It won't come up to that degree right away, but I wanted to look at when it's doing the same thing, opposing Neptune and squaring the moon. And that is, it's quite a long time. It's the last week of June through the end of November 2023, and then mid-February through mid-April 2024. So as soon as, not as soon as, but not long after the North Node has finished with that T-square, in comes Jupiter and does the same thing. So I think it can be insightful for you with that to see where, however you want to approach it, whatever your approach is, it might be interesting to see where you still have that Pisces redemption aspect, you know, of wanting to merge with someone and thinking, and I mean, and I don't in any way mean to be derogatory here. I'm all for merging. I have a strong Neptune myself. So, but I mean, it'd be interesting to see how it plays out for you, because you'll be able to see like, oh, wait a minute, I have all of this in me now, but I'm being drawn to want to give it, to project it onto this ideal person, group, however, you know, whatever you are involved with it at the time. So it'd be kind of interesting to see how you take this back and make it your own, and make it your own. And again, in however you want to do that. There's no right or wrong, but I think it's good just to observe, to see it play out, to see it play
Huh.
out, see what you want to do with it, and how to bring it back inside of you and expand your own sense of self, or whatever it is that you feel is looking to be experienced, But having said all of that, the other thing that's happening that's nice and long, and I hope you have fun with this one, is transiting Venus will be in Leo in your fourth house from June the 6th through October the 8th of 2023. Now, you have Moon in Leo. Now, imagine having Venus in Leo as well. And I think, hey, it's like the royal Persian stars. It's like Venus, she is in full regal. I think you should just take this energy and be dramatic with it in all the ways that fit your personality, because Venus in Leo is, got the moon in Leo, pretty spiffy, So however you want to do that, this time's here where it comes into the Venus and Leo comes into a T-square. A grand trine for you too in the June the 25th through July the 10th of next year. So however you want to incorporate that into your personal life, your relationship part of your life, how you do your work, I think that it's a really great feeling, Venus and Leo. I think you'll know exactly what to do with it. It allows you to dream big. It allows you that it falls in with your Bohemian, Jupiter and Taurus energy. And it's very, very charismatic for you. Even in the fourth house, it's very, very charismatic. So it's, it allows you to have fun in that whole different way. Because, your Jupiter and Taurus, your Virgo planets, you're very sensual. You have an incredible sensual experience to the earth.
I need to express that.
So I think the Venus in the fourth will also be very sensual, but we want nice sensual, not just any old sensual. It's queenly energy.
So I have to wait until 2023 before something more solid, like a relationship, or there may be something coming closer before. It's difficult, right?
I noticed you never mentioned in your email anything about relationships, so I figured like, maybe you're waiting for some signs there or whatever, to see the Jupiter trine your moon, which is happening right now, just starting. I think that's a nice aspect to try that on. Like how does it feel to have someone in my space and close, and all you're doing is trying it on. What does that feel like? And oh, incidentally, just so you know, this is down the road, but it's good to know because we talked about solar at Jupiter conjunct your Mars. Really, really nice aspect. But also, eventually, that solar at Jupiter will conjunct your Venus. That won't be until March of 2024, but it'll be in place for 2 years through March of 2026. So definitely with the conjunction first to your Mars and then to your Venus from that solar at Jupiter, and because it's in Cancer, that will definitely help you see, and to do with affection and companionship and closeness. It'll help you see how good that feels for you, and if you want to have more of that, or you want to define that in a certain way, or I think it'll be organic, that you'll just know if you want to attract more of that in a very specific partnership oriented way, or not, that you'll just know.
Thank you.
I don't think you have to be concerned about, well, the Uranus conjunction to your second house Jupiter. I mean, Uranus is by transit is sitting at that cusp, the cusp of your second house for quite a long time. It goes to 21 degrees then back and 21 degrees and then back. But I think by the time that actually becomes a conjunction, you'll, you know, will have been a lot of things moved in your chart to enhance that, so it can take off in ways that are probably unimaginable as we sit here right now, because for a lot of different reasons, you know, however we view this time, everything that's happening in the world right now. But by the time that conjunction happens, I'm thinking that it might knock your socks off just what's possible with that in terms of reaching a whole new level of what it feels like to have a lot more freedom to do what you want to do, because the financial part is there for you and strong. I mean, you were born with Jupiter in Taurus, you know, I mean, a long time ago, years ago, when I lived in Santa Barbara in California, I was hired as an astrologer for this big public event where very, very, very wealthy people were giving money to a cause. It was on an estate in Montecito. And I couldn't believe I did 20-minute readings. There was 350 people there. I wasn't the only one doing reading, but almost every single person that came for a reading had Jupiter in Taurus. And their questions were, well, I have this villa in the south of France. We don't really use it that often. I just wonder if I should let that go. But they all had very comfortable with wealth and couldn't even imagine not, you know, and so it was kind of interesting. I've always been left with that flavor of Jupiter and Taurus, that they really know how to attract and live in wealth. You know,
I hope it's coming. I hope it's coming.
Well, the fact that you've got it natally, it's not sitting there in your financial house for no good reason. You know, there's another connection to the goddess right there. So I know it will work for you. At some point, that solar Venus, which is in Virgo, will trine that Jupiter, which will make a grand trine to the midheaven. You know, Venus at the moment is almost 23 degrees. So it's got another, by solar it's got another year, just a little bit over a year, maybe 15 months before it begins that 2-year trine to the midheaven, Venus to the midheaven, and to your Jupiter. So there's a lot of evidence, let's put it that way. There's a lot of evidence that that this will be part of how promoting your own nurturing and support, so that you can do more of what you know, what you're called to do. I like all the ideas that you have. I really like all the ideas that you have. And I would be happy to send people to you for the galactic astrology, you know, the way you work with that.
And likewise, I'll tell people. In fact, I was thinking, should I share this on my YouTube channel? But I know it's a bit personal, but you are so brilliant.
Yeah, really. I mean, to tell you the truth, I find it galactic astrology so fascinating, just like the fixed stars, so fascinating. Every part of me, when I get focused on studying it, it's just like amazing. But at the moment, I'm also fulfilling Pluto conjuncting my North Node in Capricorn, which is much closer to home and much more, you know, did anyone take the garbage out? You know what, that's okay, because when I have the time, I study the fixed stars, mostly through Bernadette Brady's book from Australia, and
Yes.
and I love the energy.
Yes, I have that book.
Yeah.
I'm a fan. Oh,
Yeah, the galactic astrology, I think, in fact, there's a woman that I told about it, a great being. She lives in Hawaii. So I am going to give her your website information, because I think I think that would be a good connection for her. She's very much part of the star people, you know?
Amazing, amazing. Thank you so much. So would you be happy if I share this and spoke about you on YouTube and have
Oh,
have
absolutely. As a matter of fact, I was really happy to see that you got your own YouTube, because you have such an amazing Saraswati throat chakra energy that I think that is without a doubt. I mean, without a doubt, just listening to your voice,
thank
it's really lovely. And of course, not to mention the teaching and informative part. And I would like to think that you can really start building that and because we're now I mean, look where you live, and you can attract people from all over the world,
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Margaret.
You're very welcome. And also, Anouk, if you listen to this at another time and you go, wait a minute, we didn't get that down pat, just email me anything. I'm more than willing to clarify anything or revisit something. Oh, as a matter of fact, real quickly, I want to revisit something. I just thought that grand trine with the Neptune that you have in your chart, the grand trine, transiting Jupiter goes back into Pisces the month of November through December the 20th this year. It goes back into that late degree of Pisces. So I think that will be a lot of insight, a lot of energy and guidance coming through, because Jupiter will come back to be with your grand trine again before it is forever and connected to Aries. So that's no accident that it comes back one more time to connect with your grand trine. So that again, all the month of November and through December the 20th, whatever you do to just open yourself up to, I mean, there's going to be something there for you for sure.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're very welcome. And thank you also, Anouk, for, I mean, really, this is for you, and you're the one that initiated sent me the link. I mean, I just thank you so much. I mean, you shouldn't have to do anything, just be there, but you did this. So thank you very much for that.
Oh, thank you.
So
let me send me details about the payments, and your website is where I found you now, right? It's the same website as before. I Google to find your website.
Okay.
So if it's changed, let me know, because then I'll add it to the end of the video for people to find you. Or tell us what
you went out.
Tell us what is. Can you hear me?
I can now.
Tell us.
Yeah.
Tell us what is your email or what is your website.
You looked at it.
Yes. Okay. You can't hear me. Okay. Thank you, my dear. Thank you. So much love. So grateful.
Take care.
You too. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you, Anouk, too. Bye.
Thank you.